What they do, what it is, it's Orion, aka Brass Balls, Deep Dive Tape Stash, the installment on my Orion hip hop channel that keeps on giving and rarely taking. But we gonna give our takes on this gem. But before I do, please make sure you subscribe to the channel Orion Hip Hop, where you can peep previous episodes and music from yours truly, as well as some obscure demos from some artists that you may or may not have ever heard of and your ears weren't ever privy to until now. This is what I do here. Yo, make sure you get your scuba gear, get your swim shit tight, because we're gonna take a swim tonight in the Hudson River. It is cold, it's chilling, and it's New York weather in the winter time, and that's what we got amongst us. I got this gem supplied by my dog Lex. Lex, what they do, homie?
What's going on, Orion? Thank you for the invitation.
We had a lot to choose from, and you was like, yo, I wanna talk about this brother right here. This brother's music right here, and we talking about AZ. What could you tell me about AZ, this tape? How you feel about it?
Well, I'll tell you something. Obviously, I learned about AZ from the Nas Illmatic album, and when I heard AZ next to Nas, I was like, if Nas put him on this album, I heard his style rhyming. There was nobody rhyming like as smooth as AZ, and yet very, very lyrical. And not lyrical in some shit that you can't understand, but it's just the way he puts together these words that you're like, how do those words rhyme? I don't get it.
It makes perfect sense that on the artwork of this, it says AZ, the visualizer, because you just mentioned Life's a Bitch on that track. He opens it up with visualizing the metropolitan. Like, just the way he kicks it off, it makes sense that he's AZ, the visualizer. And I don't know if that was something that he always used as a monarch, or if somebody in his label was just like, yo, why don't we put AZ the visualizer, since that's the first introduction people had to you on the Nas Illmatic album. This is the single for Sugarhill off of his debut album Do or Die. Now, I don't know, and maybe I could have had some more time to research this. I don't know if this was the breakout single, the debut single from the album, but nonetheless, this is 1995 when this comes out in. Nas Illmatic was already out for some time, so people were anticipating an AZ solo album. This 95 era, Biggie is already out of here. You know what I'm saying? He's on the radio all the time. And that it's pre-Jiggy era, right? But this is like, yo, we've been in the Shaolin streets for some minute now. Let's get a little bit dapper down and head to the clubs. Because you had Biggie with One More Chance, Juicy, Big Papa. These tracks was like the route a lot of rappers were starting to go in, especially if they're trying to make a track for the radio. And that's what Sugarhill was to me. I remember hearing it on 99 Jams nonstop. I heard Sugarhill more times than I can care, to be honest with you. Like, when I would record my tapes off 99 Jams, because they were playing, this is an era where they were playing like real boom bap shit and also playing like clubby shit. Yeah. But when I would record my tapes, I can't tell you how many times I recorded AZ Sugarhill and was like, no, not again. I don't need this on my tape again. You're messing my mixtape up. Anyways.
Well, you know, it's crazy that I just learned recently from one of AZ's interviews saying that AZ was actually against this being the first single off the album, because I don't know if you remember, but back in the days, you did not want to sell out, and selling out meant making these kind of tracks. So he actually was very against this track coming out as the first album, as the first track.
I could see why, because it's very, it's soft.
It's bubblegum.
Yeah.
But his lyrics were still...
He still came with it. And so, all right, let's get into this, because we're talking about whether or not this is as hard as what was coming out in that era, 95. And it definitely was very much a softer touch to a lyricist like AZ. But the beat itself was produced by LES, who happened to be the same producer for Life's a Bitch, the track that introduced the world to AZ. And LES samples a group called Juicy, a song called Sugar Free. Sugar Free here, and I'm telling you now, and I'm pimping on you hoes. Not to be confused for that Sugar Free. But listening to the sample with you here, I was just like, man, he clearly sampled like the drums, and there's like this clav that samples, but the bass line on Sugarhill, whoever was the bass player that they had in the studio that day did his damn thing. This bass line on Sugarhill is amazing. I love bass lines like this. But the track, it kind of did make me get sleepy. Like the hook of Miss Jones. Miss Jones featured on the hook. She's been on tracks with Big Pun on the Capital Punishment album, the song Punish Me. She was also on Pete Rock's album, The Soul Survivor, the song Soul Survivor. She's singing on it. Great voice. I wanna be. It makes me go to sleep. Like, this song makes me go to sleep. It makes me want to take a nap. I want to take a nap when I hear this song. You know, it has that, I don't know, like it's just, I don't know if you feel the same way, if you understand what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying, but it's crazy that yet a song like that, so poppy, I guess, became such a huge hit that you still wanted to listen to more AZ. Even though this track was not what you heard in Lies a Bitch, you still wanted to hear more AZ. And I to me, with this song, I was like, I want more AZ. There's no rapper right now rapping this smooth with his lyrics.
Right. And I could definitely hear this song at Belly. When the belly parties happen, I feel like I've heard it a bunch of times.
And you're gonna have the girls singing along.
Yeah, the girls are gonna love this song.
You're gonna have the guys coming in with the hardcore rapping. So
shout out to Miss Jones. She was actually, aside from the features, she was signed to Motown Records, released an album in '98, I believe, and had a song called Baby Maybe, and it was featuring Mobb Deep. And when we listen to it right now, me and you, it's the same beat that Mobb Deep did for Right Back At You, which is a song featured on the Sunset Park soundtrack. And maybe that's why the label decided to collaborate with Mobb Deep, because they were basically using their beat, it looks like.
Exactly.
But yeah, worth a listen. If you want to take a dive into that, you should. The Do or Die album from AZ was a pretty good album. It's not hailed as a classic like the Illmatic was, and I think it could have used an extra track or two maybe to get it to that level. But I love Nas joint, Mo Murder, Mo Homicide, produced by DR Period, is amazing. And a lot of other tracks on that album are really fire, including the B-side to this tape cassette, which is Rather Unique, produced by the great Pete Rock. What's your memories of I know how you said how you felt about Sugarhill, but what about Rather Unique, the B-side?
I think Rather Unique was definitely a good choice to put right behind that Sugarhill, because it was still smooth with Pete Rock's type of style, but it gave you now another side of AZ. And it was like, okay, we got this nice Sugarhill stuff, but guess what? He's also rather unique and just flash stuff.
Fly shit all day. And you know what killed AZ for me for a while was my dog Name Brand. Rest in peace to my homie Name Brand, one of my good friends and one of my early collaborators and shit. He screwed up AZ for me, because one day we were listening to AZ. It's just like, yo, you ever notice that AZ don't pronounce his R's? So like when he says free, it's fui with a W.
I didn't even know that.
Yo, he told me that. It fucked AZ up for me. For like 4 years, I couldn't listen to AZ. Because every time I would, and a word with an R came up, he would say it with a W, and I'd be like, yo, my world be fui. I was just like, you've messed that up for me. Yo, the artwork on this shit I want to talk about. It has some like Illuminati, Masonic shit going on. You got one eyeball in there, and like the A, you know what I mean? I'm just saying some Illuminati shit going on there. But the AZ sound would later on morph into what we would get with Nas and The Firm and that album. I talked about that album on a deep dive tape stash with One Take. I thought that album was a lot better than people give it credit for. I don't know where you sit with that.
That was a good album. I know that many people may get upset, but I think that could have done without Foxy, in my opinion.
Wow, no, I like the Foxy Brown energy. I just felt like they could have had Cormega in there still. They shouldn't have. I think taking Cormega out of the group was a bad move, a bad step. Alright, yo. This about wraps it up. This is the AZ episode. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you tap into my homie that I got with me right here, One Lex, on his IG. What is that IG, my brother?
It is One Lex Only on Instagram, the number One Lex Only. But hold up, you know they're working on the Do or Die album. The second part. It's coming.
I think he already came out with Do or Die Part 2.
Then guess what? I'm late.
There's a Do or Die Part 2. He might be working on a. We don't have trilogies yet, you know that? With rap albums, we got a Raekwon Only Built for Cuban Links 2. We recently got Supreme Clientele 2, but there is a Do or Die Part 2, my friend. You need to go check it out.
I need to dive in.
You need to dive into that. Let's go.
Let's go.